It sounds brilliant. All right, let's dive into it. We have the draft on the way here. And Genji now over to the blue side and should be able to get back on the horse and make things happen. But we'll see whether the bros have cooked up anything else for us. Because they've tasted victory now. And that is very, very dangerous for everyone here in the LCK Cup.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm not going to say that a team is scared of someone, but an Ambessa and then a Renekton ban, you know, Genji looking pretty afraid.
That's the tithy right there. You know, they're paying it. Their lord has demanded the taxes.
Absolutely. Does mean some of the 80 carry picks we saw left open last time, specifically the Varus Nidalee, sorry, not Varus Nidalee, Varus Ashe, are going to be left open likely. Yet we're not going to get taken away. Cluster's gone. You can't ban Varus and Ashe, so maybe just ban one, or maybe just leave them both open and pick one of the others. We'll see. Nidalee is still open and available.
Yeah, I think
something Canyon is pretty proficient on.
Maybe just banning the Nidalee. I think if you commit to the Nidalee ban in game 1, you have to keep it throughout the series, and they are going to do so. And so Varus or Ashe, one of those two, likely to be picked up here.
Yeah, could end up just not taking either right now.
Yeah, I guess you don't really have to.
And knowing you can trade later on, but likely going to pick up an 80 carry in this total rotation. So I'll have the option to do that there. Hopefully not a Corki.
Oh man,
looks like they're going to lean on the Varus right now. Might mean that we see High pick up the Ashe in return. Or, I mean, could go in a different direction. It did get quite ban heavy with the 80 carries last time around. Go in the second rotation.
Yeah, Hype might have cooked something as well. You never know. There might be some surprise pick towards that bottom side, but there is a lot up and available. So I don't know whether you necessarily have to go all in that direction.
Yeah, and especially when you know there's like a Varus who is pretty immobile, definitely have the option. Actually, just going to check in the Jax pretty quickly. Yeah, Jax Edge makes a lot of sense.
Jax Ashe makes less sense to me.
I think you could have just grabbed Jax Edge if you wanted to leave the Ashe till 3.
Unless they thought that maybe Genji were going to go for one of the old archery bottom lanes like Gumayushi Carrier used to do, but I don't know whether that even works anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's really something I'd expect for them to bring out. I feel like Juro is more confident in engaged supports, but you know, you never know. So maybe just want to show less of their hand so far in the draft.
Or maybe they wanted Canyon to play Sejuani. That'd be interesting. As the Galio to be locked in Chovy, he looked so good on this pick earlier on. Of course, his most iconic play of all time was on the Galio as well, hitting that 5-man taunt. You all remember it. It was beautiful. What's he going to lock in here for Canyon, though? I'm expecting it's going to be Canyon's pick, unless there is going to be an answer to the Jax to come through.
Yeah, I think
Xin Zhao.
A Bruiser, something like Xin Zhao makes a lot of sense. Could even have gone something like Wukong. I feel like you need that damage threat when you go in the Galio, especially if it's going to be that tankier Galio.
Yep.
Gives you a really strong mid-jungle. And now it's kind of difficult for Bro because you need to kind of lock in something, I feel, into the Galio now before the bans come through. But that means your jungle pool might get pinched a decent amount. I will say, though, picking Xin Zhao into the Jax never feels that ideal.
No.
And obviously, you know, it's likely going to be Jax top into Xin Zhao jungle, but anytime you have to interact with Jax, his Counter-Strike just kind of says no to your entire kit.
Not going to be doing too much there. Is the Poppy going to be taken away as we're just looking to get rid of Keen's answers to the Jax? That sort of matchup is the only one we're really needing to protect here on the side of the bros. But look to see junglers hitting the deck. So maybe it's like Wukong Sejuani or something like that to be banned away here. Humbug does have a pretty deep champion pool, so I don't think he's going to be too worried. But getting rid of some of the things that the Xin Zhao really doesn't want to deal with is probably the way to do it. Sejuani, a good start.
Yeah, I think Sejuani makes a lot of sense to take away, especially comboing well with the Jax. I think Wukong you could take away as well, although I think Wukong might have a little bit of issues sometimes into like the Galio, just being able to cover for Keen. Be interested to see if they ban away any supports as well here. Apart from that, Renata, I mean, I guess the Poppy as well was a support ban, mostly gone untouched. Whereas like last draft, it was kind of more heavily focused towards the supports. So it was like, well, this is kind of what's left available.
Yep.
Things like Khan still on the cards, things like the Rel still available.
By the way, there's a lot of synergy. We do need Keen to pick Master Yi top so that we have the the champions with way too many glasses sockets or whatever it is. See, like the Jax's little mask thing? Master Yi got like the same one. Then you got a bird matchup in the mid lane, chicken versus pigeon. Like, It's pretty cool.
Oh, match
I'm sure there's another spear user that we could throw into the jungle. Can't think of it on the top of my head.
Nidalee was a spear user and she got banned.
Oh, no. But, hey, wait, there's a Lance, though, on Rel, so it kind of lines up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rel jungle, not really as much of a thing. We do see the Rel come out, and then Genji toying with the idea of a Lulu in this situation.
Lulu Varus. That's pointing us towards a little bit more of the on-hit variety of the Varus, one of Ruler's greatest champions. You know, as that's an Urgot, an old Keen special. That'd be fun.
Yeah, interesting. One thing I really don't like about the Lulu is I feel like Galio works so fantastically is like follow-up engage.
True.
But you need someone to lead the charge, and you know, as much as Xin Zhao can go in, he even has the ability called Audacious Charge.
He does.
You can't hold people in place until you have your knock-up ready, and it's sometimes difficult to stack that up immediately.
Whoa.
Lee Sin coming in for handback quickly, so a lot of confidence in that pick. Definitely feels like Genji have quite a sort of defensive counter dive sort of comp. Like if you come into them, they have a lot of tools to play around with. They have a lot of DPS between like the Varus and the Urgot.
I do feel like Bro's composition is very flexible though with how these fights are going because they have so much mobility. Yeah. It's only really Hype that's going to struggle to move around a lot and reposition himself. But if they can make sure that they keep their Ashe safe, you know, make sure these arrows are landing where they need to.
Yeah.
It does have some of the answers, but like you said, there's a lot more cohesion on Genji this time around.
But I will say, I feel like one of the things with Genji's composition is if they do fall behind, they don't really have that much to set up plays. I mean, if someone oversteps, absolutely they can, but mostly they are like, okay, you need to run into us. We want to hold our ground. We want to have control of an area. If they get ahead, I think it'll feel obnoxious for Bro, but I think if Genji fall behind, which we did obviously see last game, they could have some trouble, and there's tools like the Ashe Arrow, like the Rel, that can set up plays and pick people who are isolated.
It's pretty cute. Genji players are all dancing. We're caught on our phone. We don't know. We can't really read the sign. Couldn't read the sign anyway, but it's fine. She didn't actually trigger into it, but here we go. So Keen's favorite champion towards the top side of the map is Urgot, that he really loves bringing out. And it's going to be a decent answer into the Jax, is what I kind of feel like. But there is a lot that Bro can work with here as well. Pretty even footing as far as the draft. Genji probably more locked in here in Game 2. All right, Breon fans need to be a bit louder here in LOL Park, but I can see you guys in the Twitch chat. And so I know that you're making up for it. As Genji going to be backing away here after the Bros took a bit of damage, as we can see. Glitter Lance doing some work.
Yeah, strong level 1 though from the Bro comp, so able to really force Genji out. We're kind of just on the sidelines watching as the jungle gets awarded out. Do you see some pings coming out though? They have seen where the information has been placed.
Ruler had already moved up as well, so isn't actually going to be spotted on that ward, which is pretty cute.
Oh, I hate this. Have you seen Ruler's Keystone?
Oh god, no.
Poke Varus with
a Lulu? I really hope that he's just doing that for the laning phase.
I feel like losing lethal tempo as on-hit Varus is so...
No, it's actually really not great.
Oh, this is not... I don't like this.
Really? You have an enchanter!
I mean, okay, I am going to say as a caveat, we did often see way back in the day things like Lulu mid, Xin Zhao jungle, so like Lulu does sync up well with Xin Zhao, but I still think having an on-hit Varus is so much better than having a poke Varus.
And I feel like there's not, like, it's not obscene range on the side of Bro, right? Like, they do have, like, decent range, but, like, I think he could still find a way to play, especially with the amount of peeling tools that are available for Genji.
Yeah, it's...
Missed opportunity there. But if you're a Bro leaver, certainly going to be helping the stocks rise for them. As Keen getting the top lane treatment, this is just going to be the sad time that the top lane is going to have. Same can be said for Morgan, as we saw earlier on, was just taking way too much damage.
Yeah, I'm poked down a fair bit better Lulu. The thing with having like a Lulu in these lane stop situations, especially one with heal, a lot less dive threat, but very hard to avoid the harass. Just you can consistently do without taking tower hits, which can be pretty annoying.
Yeah, we don't have Canyon towards his bottom side, so Morgan is going to be safe for the moment. You can see Duro continuing to be frustrating. I love the squid skin as well on the Lulu.
Very cute.
Definitely the best one. It's the goggly eyes.
The goggly eyes is just
so
phenomenal.
Good. Okay.
Maybe that's it. Maybe Lulu's like, I really want to play Poke Virus here. Lulu's probably not the best. And then Duro's like,
but
wait until you see my skin. And then they get in the like, Lulu's like, I really don't think this is that. And then he sees his skin. He's like, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
It's about vibes, and the vibes are impeccable.
It's perfect. And they're gonna play Splatoon later as well, and they're just gonna have a really good time.
Maybe they lose the game, but it's about bonding.
Exactly, and it's about cleaning up the paint and stuff like that. You know, that's what it's all about. As Canyon is now down here on this wave to look for a kill onto Morgan.
Now,
and he is Jax, but he's also Jax. Like it's gonna be tough. They're waiting for him to press his buttons, but they may not even need to. His Counter-Strike does finally come up. The turret's getting frustrating. There's another dive here towards the top side. Polu tanks as much as he possibly can. And yes, there's the death of Morgan towards the bottom side as the Sonic Wave. Oh God! Ooh. Calculated this time from Hype, I guess.
The health pot running definitely making a difference. You can see how it's not just that the towers do more damage, but they take longer to cool down, so the damage was still ramped up when Hype took aggro. Got very dangerous. And I do want to credit Genji's dive on the bot side. So the thing they do here is Duro leads with the Polymorph. Canyon stacks up his Q, so 1 auto on the tower, 2 auto, Polymorph, knock up, and he nearly dies before he even gets to Counter-Strike.
Yep.
They then wait their time, they let their tower reset, and then it's so easy there just to finish off.
And somehow Duro didn't get it with that Glitter Lance that was coming in right when he was dying.
Yeah, I know he wants to steal Ruler's Penta, but that wasn't close to a Penta. He's just trying to steal his kill there. Here, Hype doesn't let the tower fully cool down, and it gets a little bit dangerous, but the health pot was running the entire time, so maybe just saved him there.
Drink potions, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, both teams getting a dive off. Now Morgan in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it does find a bit of a stun with that Counter-Strike, but not getting quite as much value. Got to be careful of these shotgun knees. As we'll see whether Keen's going to be able to stain on top of this guy. Take him down. Genji pushing in towards his top side as we do have some Australian lanes. Love to see it.
You must feel right at home.
I am. As alright, Hype is going to avoid that piercing arrow. Serrated Dirt coming in there for Ruler, so confirmation that no funny business. As Closer is the wrong direction for that ability, I would say. As Joby is going to be very happy in melee range.
Yeah. A lot of good trading coming out from Genji right now, and especially that, well, I guess top lane now matchup between Ruler and Duro, and Hype and Polu. Double range, especially in early Dirk on the Varus.
Yeah.
Will have a lot of pressure.
Feeling pretty good. At least Hype is able to collect some of the farm here, utilizing his volleys correctly.
Yeah, and also there's a pretty big payoff in terms of the fact that they got a couple of plates down bot as well. You know, Tower's bot lane still quite a bit weaker than those in the top side.
Well, Humbug now moving over towards the dragon.
Great angle.
Yeah. Keen's just teleported in as well. They're expecting him near these grubs, but Humbug's going to come down towards his bottom side. Good disdain to get Keen out of there, but the safeguard forward. Tempest and Cripple. And the Q is going to miss, but I have a feeling Keen is still dead. There it is, Leap Strike and the Empower, and that is the kill.
Yeah.
Nice little gift for Morgan here, who does need to be strong in this game.
TPing in that far up, and especially the fact that he didn't have Flash, even though Handback doesn't miss the Q, he holds it for so long, Keen's trying to dodge it and just ends up going down, and it's a pretty massive play for Bro. Morgan will appreciate that extra gold, not just from the kill, but also he gets a plate there. Ooh. And it's just a nice farm now. Oh, Canyon.
Oh, I think he was spotted, yeah. Just barely, though. It was almost genius. He's still just going to pick it up. And maybe Humbug can actually rotate around, but as you can see here, they are pinging it.
Yeah, there's no one here to back up Handback, which is the concern, because Chovy can move in. And this is important that Chovy is here, because Handback, Lee Sin can easily steal away a neutral objective with the extra.
That's 2 objectives immediately, though, here for Genji.
That's pretty massive. A good start.
Yeah. They are, you know, 1 more objective away from just putting their sandals on immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where you'll have the upgrade before people have their tier 2 boots. And here, yeah, just really overextended. Was a good flip, though, from Keen. And then they're just autoing and holding the Q. He does dodge it in the end, but just not enough, unfortunately.
Yep. Nicely picked up there from Bro, though. And gold dead even, but as you can see, those feats of strength starting to stack up for Gen G. They've got a Hextech Dragon as well. Pretty valuable as far as an individual Drake is concerned. So there's a little bit of power that isn't really illustrated in the coffers at the top of the screen there.
Yeah, it is one of those situations, though, where it's like, Hextech is a nice dragon stat you get, but it means you're not getting Hextech Soul.
True.
Also not getting Infernal Soul. So the individual dragons are nice, but you're definitely thinking, will this pay off in the long run? And Keen definitely playing a lot more respectful now. Does not want to get burnt again.
Yeah, very interested in how this game is going to go. You can see Hype making his way back towards that top side of the map. Has himself a little slingshot as well as his pickaxe. Getting closer and closer to item number 1. So is Ruler, of course, stacking up his tier now as well. And where is this next objective going to be coming from? Looks like it's going to be second round of grubs that we're going to be fighting over. And I don't think giving away 6 grubs to Gen G with this composition is really going to be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, giving away 6 grubs in general, but you'd also just immediately give over the feats of strength, which is pretty significant this early. I mean, those base extra stats you get from upgrading your tier 2 boots, it's just amplified the earlier you get them.
Oh, yeah. And Keen, still having a fine time. Like, this is still Urgot, right? He is pretty frustrating to deal with in the laning phase. His arrow is going to connect, immediately gets the cleanse out from Ruler. Nicely done there from Hype. Trading arrows there, and it turns out that Hype's arrow is a little bit more frightening when it is just one of them. Yeah,
they definitely nerfed the cooldown a while ago, back when Ash support was a big thing, but it should be starting to come up about when the grubs respawn. So it's kind of like the perfect timing, where you burn the summoner, and then you're looking to have the ability back for the objective that's coming up.
Yep, and Ruler won't have the cleanse, which is the main thing. Morgan happily picking up CS where he can. Top lane is really not eaten well as far as the farm is concerned. Having a look in the mid lane, we're getting very quickly towards 100. Not quite there yet. As Poly moves over, Chovy not going to find much more than a taunt, but he isn't too worried about it.
Yeah, it's very hard for Closer to do any meaningful damage to Chovy. I mean, it was already, if you're playing into Galio, it's hard to do meaningful damage, but now that it's like Spectre's Cal Rush Galio, it's just like...
At least he's not going to be doing that much damage to you. I guess there's that.
Yeah, it's kind of just a very passive lane. Just clear the wave, throw a little autos at him just to keep him wise, and then move on.
Although the passive auto attack just does a lot of damage. Feels like it does a lot of damage.
It does skills with MR as well, so
yeah,
you actually just get a boost from that too. Oh.
Speaking of which, we're going to be able to check it out here as the Crashdown is going to connect onto Chovy. The flash forward, it picks up Canyon, but he's immediately able to press that ultimate. Piercing arrow coming in, doesn't really get too much there as Chovy maybe didn't want a Justice Punch in that direction. Morgan got over here. No one's dead yet, which is kind of crazy. Some low health bars as far as Keen and Closer are concerned, but otherwise, people kind of relatively healthy.
Yeah, very scrappy fight. A lot of ultimates burn. Right now, Gen G only have Keens. Bro have both handback and hype, so the arrow and the kick.
Oh, kind of big value there.
Yeah, a little bit more in terms of some of the spells available.
That's a teleport, Chovy.
I mean, he is Galio, so he's going to be okay. But both teams really want to contest these grubs.
Oh, Q going to miss there from Humbug. Immediately does take a piercing arrow as Canyon picking up a few of these grubs. I don't think Humbug's going to let him have all of them, but any that Gen G can pick up means like Void Mites and all that sort of stuff, which can be a little bit of trouble. Bro going to move in. All right, Arrow is going to find Ruler in the back line. Completely insane here as Morgan now diving forward. Finds the counter-strike. The kick is gorgeous onto Ruler as well, and he'll even find the Q. Chovy manages to take down the Pigeon on the back end of the fight, but they don't care about that. Bro are looking to grab 3 grubs for themselves.
Those 2 ultimates they still had, they got massive value from, able to
How did Hype hit that? That was sick.
Threaded the needle, honestly. The amount of people who are in front, and Ruler just getting caught, doesn't quite have that cleanse, which he burned earlier, the perfect timing for it, and they're rewarded, able to get all 3 of those grubs. So closing the gap a little bit in terms of those feats of strength, and also equalize in terms of those grubs. Just huge plays.
And you know how we were looking at it at 7.5 minutes, and of course Bro won the game and things like that, but it's now 12.5 minutes, and Bro have an advantage.
Oh man, Jiro nearly walked in to block it, but then I guess thought Ruler was going to. Morgan gets the stun, Handback gets the kick, just everything landing on a Ruler there, and then Chovy just clean up a kill on the backside, getting the Azir, but not really much more you can do than that. It wasn't a stomp fight from Bro, but they got what they wanted. Now Dragon going down very quickly.
Yeah, that is just going to be feats of strength if they're able to do this. Polo getting the information, but there's not a whole lot they can do about it. As Humbug moves over and he's just there to see it fall down.
Yeah.
And so it's Chemtech Soul.
Woohoo! You know, that's the thing that happens. 2 strong early dragons, and you end up with a bit of a bust.
And you're here, right?
Yeah,
So, like, I mean, obviously, it wasn't going to be Cloud Soul. Let's just say that. You know, I've had a few of those so far. I think we were due a Chemtech Soul.
I think we were. And ultimately, this is good for Bro, because I think they kind of realized that we went on the map in time to get the dragon. We don't want to int to try and contest it. They get the feats of strength. It's unfortunate, but it's whatever. I mean, in fact, the only person on Gen G who actually has tier 2 boots is Jiro, so they're not getting that much benefit now. But when a team has 2 dragons already, and then the Soul is Chemtech, you kind of like, you know, things could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it certainly could. Although Gen G, pretty happy that they got those 2 Drakes, because they're the good ones, you know?
Yeah.
There's at least that. Chemtech Soul could actually work out for a few of these champions, right? Like Morgan has a good way of like mitigating being dead, you know, at low health, so you can utilize some of those benefits and things like that. I think there are ways to make it work.
Bulkier champions, I mean, things like Xin things like Galio, like champions definitely are a lot better at benefiting from Chemtech Soul than squishy champions, but it's no Hextech.
Yeah,
it's no Cloud.
Yeah, it's no Cloud. You're not getting that extra move.
You know,
imagine having like the upgraded Swifties and Cloud Soul. My God.
Mach 10. You just like Rammus Q permanently.
Exactly. We're not going to have that. So why are we talking about these fun things that we can't have? We should talk about what the fun things that are in the game right now.
Oh,
things like Urgot.
The plants that Brendan Valdez loves so much.
Yeah. Like the Mega Scryer's Bloom.
And the Mega Honey, and the Mega Blast Cone.
Oh, I like Speed Up Fruit. I'm into that.
Yeah. You know, Brendan is watching at home and he's like, neat, I love all these plants.
He is saying that. I guarantee it. As closer, when comes Lightning, going to be able to tag him there. It's going to stop him from getting close enough to this turret. You can see Keen actually making some pretty good use of his buttons. Take that one down pretty quickly. First turret blood, not as much of a big deal at this point, given the fact that the feats of strength have gone down, but it is still a fair bit of money if they are able to collect it. As Chovy, slight level advantage over Morgan here, is still looking for that level 11. Tick over to level 2 ulti.
Yeah, interesting with these lane assignments. I feel like they favor Bro having the Jax into the
Oh, Ruler. Gonna walk into
man.
it! He didn't see it, has to cleanse. Get himself out of that one.
They're just heat-seeking.
They are. Like, Hype just knows. He's downloaded Ruler.
I feel like at this point, Ruler's like, maybe I just need to get an Edge of Night.
Yeah.
Because
I think he's probably going to build one of those.
Yeah.
But the sooner the better.
Yeah, for sure. But those arrows just consistently connecting. You burn the cleanse. This one's a little bit closer to the Herald, so maybe not going to be a factor there because the arrow won't be up. But that dragon in 2 minutes, that cleanse won't be available at the start of the fight.
And we were joking around a little bit after that last game, and we were thinking, like, what did Edgar tell to Ruler in between these games? And I'm not sure, man, but it must have rattled him. Because the bros are really doing something here. They figured out Gen G. And Edgar, of course, did help, you know, who was then Samsung Galaxy, but pick up a world title. So the bros now utilizing that wealth of experience.
Get their own world title.
Exactly. One step at a time. They got the Kesper Cup title. See what else they can get as the Rift Herald is going to reset. Gen G all in position now, just brute force Bro over this one. There is a Mega Cone, so Humbug could get here pretty quickly. Does find a Q over. Let's see whether he goes in for the steal. This is almost an opportunity, but decides that they do not really mind about it as they're trading a tower on the bottom side. So, of course, Herald generally going to be able to help get you one tower. And so if you've already taken one, then that's pretty good. That's first turret blood as well, going over to Morgan, which is pretty nice. Is now closer, looking for an opportunity onto Chovy. Shifts the sands, but doesn't shift them quite far enough.
Yeah, it feels like Bro are playing with a lot of restraint here. You know, they fish for the opportunity to steal, but they're like, look, we get a free tower bot lane if we don't fight. You know, as much as Herald is powerful because you can choose where to place it, most of the times you're getting a tower to Herald, so they'll just take the tower in the first place. Obviously, Herald does give a bit of gold, which is nice, and they end up making a trade, which I think is fine for them. I will say, though, you know, as much as we big fans of the Poke Varus pairing with the Lulu. This is really where the Varus is shining in the mid game, and Hype is struggling a bit, just getting poked out from a distance. Has picked up a Vamp Scepter, so definitely knows the sustain is the key here.
Yep, at least has that. Static Shiv already done. An interesting choice, wanting to be able to get a bit more wave clear and things like that. And Humbug now moving towards this Chemtech Dragon. Might be Bro's opportunity to try and get one of those, as they do have a control ward on it. Hype continuing to, as you say, illustrate how frustrating it can be. He now moving towards the rest of his team. Polu baiting out a few abilities here and there. Humbug gets in there, and they will be able to start this one off. So it looks like we're not going to see a soul point from Gen G unless Canyon makes his way in. Try and steal this one away. Right now, Chovy moving down towards this fight as well. That heroic entrance going to be an opportunity as Polu taking a lot of poke damage. The Rip Carol being thrown down in the middle of this one as well, just to create chaos. Great kick out, but now can they actually win the fight? That's the question. As Polu, the Flash Magnus Storm, but just gets thrown out of there. Beautiful mitigation and peel. We mentioned that Gen G has this in their composition. They'll now be able to move Shelly towards the mid lane and grab that outer turret. And they're going to be able to grab a second charge as well. Some extra value. And possibly, yeah, even this inner turret at the same time. So yeah, grats on your Chemtech, Drake. That's 2 turrets you're going to lose.
Yeah, good job there from Juro. You know, part of the value of the Lulu into the Rel specifically being able to interrupt that crash down despite Polu's flash. And because they routed them, I just don't think Gen G cared at all about a single Chemtech Dragon.
No.
Like getting 2 towers mid off that Herald, that's the value you want.
But we got this secured, you know, that was the main thing, right? Like, Humbug, he nailed the kick. So cut the video there, and you're feeling pretty happy about it. Outside of that, a little bit rough. So Gen G now move back to a gold lead. Nothing, no end of the world type scenarios, and you can see that, you know, Morgan still has that advantage. Morgan certainly feels like the win condition here for Bro at this point in time.
Especially because it just feels like there isn't that much damage to really cut him down, you know?
Yeah.
Irgot and Xin are both heavily counteracted by his Counter-Strike. The Galio obviously is tankier, so not doing as much damage, especially to a bulky target. And like Ruler only really has burst, so I feel like as the game goes on, Morgan is going to become more and more problematic. And this is one of those games where even in team fights, Jax is just going to be so hard to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the more auto-attack based your composition is, the more powerful this champion can be in team fights.
Well, Keen is now just going to be able to clear out these minions. Does take so much damage from close. Oh my god.
Yeah, they keep opting into these lane assignments where it's the Irgot into the Azir and it's the Jax versus the Galio, and I think Bro are just benefiting from it.
Yeah, pretty psyched about it. Crash down over the wall. Humbug have to be a little bit frightened about what Canyon's going to be able to do with his Lulu in tow, as we do have some of the shield there broken. Arakan has come up yet again. Surprisingly, it's a voracious one. It's kind of crazy. I was expecting that have a lot more Ruinous in today's game, just because of the amount of hype and excitement, you know, that Gen G versus Bro just bring in general.
It's funny, they've just released like the new patch, and on it they're like, oh, we've adjusted it. You should see you know, a more gracious solo queue and more Ruinous and Pro Pay. And I'm like, how do they do that? Like, as in more than 0.
Well, Chovy's going to be able to grab the second turret for Gen G, sorry, third turret for Gen G, as they were able to eradicate them from the mid lane. They also grab the outer on the top side, and Arakan might be considered now as well. So 4 turrets to 1. Bro really losing out as far as structure money is concerned, and you've got their Tower Destroyer in the bottom lane, where there isn't an outer turret available.
Yeah, and the TP mid from the side of Gen G, pushing that wave in. I was thinking maybe they're going to make a move towards the Arakan with 4 members around the area, but they decided, you know, hold it for now. No real inclination to push towards it yet. And it's been a slow game, and I think that is where Gen G really shine, when they can just set the pace and have control. And also, I talked a bit about this in draft, how their comp really wants the enemy team to come into them. They have a lot of defensive tools, a lot of heal. Now they're the team with the Goldie, with the control of the map, and with a lot of towers taken. It's very easy for them to get set up and just say to Bro, hey, come at me, Bro.
Yeah. And Bro, they are Bro, so it does make sense that they would be asking that. Closer not going to be able to fight Keen this time around. Keen actually completing his second item. Sterix and the Black Cleaver both done now. So certainly very bruisery is Mr. Urgot. Theoretically, he shouldn't be doing as much as the game goes later and later, but that ultimate is always so incredibly impactful if you can make it work. So we'll see whether Keen is going to be able to do the things that he wants to do on his Urgot.
Wait, what? I just find it so funny that you look at Urgot and on the scoreboard, and it's like he has an 8 gold bounty.
Yeah. No, these mini bounties are actually hilarious. Like the 18 gold, like 20 gold. Whoa.
8 gold, like what?
We saw yesterday, like someone had a 2 gold bounty and then died, and it's very, very strange. Arrow has to be used defensively here from Hype and also takes so much damage just trying to get himself away. Doesn't have to flash, so at least holds onto his summoners, but that is another big cooldown that Bro won't have for this potential Dragon fight or even the Arakan fight, if that is where they're going to go. As Chovy looking for Morgan once again, has been holding on to a experience lead this entire time. I feel like Chovy's had the biggest upgrade in play so far.
Yeah, it's funny because last time he played the Galio, I mean, you play Galio, you don't expect that champion to be farming up a Storm, and his CS numbers were a little bit lower. Yep. And now it's just like he's downloaded it. He's like, I know how to get over 10 CS per minute as Galio, as Galio.
He's like, Yone is too hard to farm on. Give me Galio.
Chovy is Chovying right now.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And it has led to them having about a 3,000 gold lead, and it just feels like the pressure is constant.
Yeah, and it just looks like, Bro, like I don't feel the options, the ways out for Bro here. And so they have hit underdog status well and truly here in this game. It is now time for the Bros to find an angle. The unfortunate thing is that they're just not doing a whole lot of setting up to try and find them outside of maybe this. As Edge of Night, like you were talking about, now completed for Ruler, so very happy about having access to that one. Canyon now getting information here where he can. You're going to miss there from Humbug. As I believe Genji should be able to just take this down. Honestly, there's just no vision in this area. Control Ward goes down. Q going to miss. And Arakan, I think, still taking damage here, as we can see. Yeah, we're going to take the northern entrance. Let's see what they can actually find here, as they've broken the shield on Ruler. That is definitely valuable. Hail of Arrows coming down, though. Arakan getting lower and lower. Can Humbug make something happen? That's the question, as Chovy looking to get in position so that he can press that ult button and not get interrupted. Okay, Keen, are you just going to disdain forward? He is. Let's see how much damage he can actually take here as Polo just gets obliterated. Humbug gets into the backline, but I don't know about that one. Lands another Q, gets the flash kick to take down the Urgot, and now it's Closer's turn to do that damage. He rips through them as Ruler now in the back of this Baron pit, and look at Morgan. Yeah, he might have been adorable there when he was polymorph, but now he's flashing on your face and taking you down. The Hail of Arrows might create a bit of space here, and without Flash, not going to be able to catch up to Ruler. But that is no Arakan for anyone, and Bro winning a fight.
And if you actually look as well at the summoner spells, every single flash from Genji been there. It's only a 1-kill lead.
Look at how much Humbug has to do to get in position to kick.
Man, like,
it takes forever.
Yeah, finds an angle here, and I think he was hoping to kick
Ruler into him,
yeah, but unfortunately he just ends up killing the Urgot. But, you know, Ruler just doesn't have the DPS in these fights as the poke Varus. Health bars get low, but he can't really just shred through Morgan, and Morgan is a demon. Just charging him down, has to flash away. He is such a threat right now. I think Bro's approach to the fight was a really important thing there, because that choke was just impossible to cut through. They took the wider route. Polu was kind of the sacrifice, and Hype the whole time was free hitting. Morgan was just unmatched. And I think maybe, you know, we talk about slow and steady being the pace where Genji can really control it, but I feel like with this lethality Varus and with that composition, if the game goes late, I'm really not favoring Genji's.
I mean, it's Azir and Ashe, right? Like, they scale beautifully, getting later and later. I feel like Ashe has that sort of lull where she doesn't feel like she does the DPS, but then you give her 6 items and she will just destroy you. As now, Bro, looking to try and once again do exactly the same thing, but with Morgan on the bottom side of the map, destroying inner turrets. They spot the fact that Keen is down there to answer him, as Chovy now moves in. Arrow going to connect onto the Galio here as Hype just standing forward. And the Q is going to connect from Humbug as he moves on in. I don't know about this one, Genji. It's a little bit scary, but they have Keen moving up a little bit earlier. Teleport's available for both of them. And they've taken over the Otacon. The ebb and flow of this fight, though, you can see now Morgan moving in, spots the teleport. Might see that this is the time. Magnustorm this time finally working up with the polymorph is gorgeous. Onto Morgan into the backline. He's stunned forever, but he still has access to that counter-strike. And he's still going to be feared beyond death. Closing it, and then 4 people with the ultimate, and now Hype. Can you do it? Can you be the savior? Can you be the hero? The flash is so good! And the Bloodthirster keeps him alive! It's 1-up on both sides, Chovy versus Hype.
Bros managed to clutch back a fight where it looked like they had no right to win it. Closer goes for the shuffle and manages to land it. Hype is pixel perfect on the cleanup. He knows Chovy is here.
Yeah. Can he win the 1v1? I mean, he's looking pretty good and just wants to get away. So, not wanting to deal with this Galio. And let's have a look at the fight one more time. Does Otacon actually go down? I don't think he does.
No, and credit to Juro here. Interrupts the Rel crash down, polymorphs Morgan before he gets in, who then gets rooted. The peel is great, and this is Gen G doing what that comp wants to do. But they've been a lot of tools here. And Closer, he does get stopped initially by a short taunt, but that shuffle!
God, yeah,
And
wasn't
Handback.
quite onto 5, but...
Guys, Lee Sin is not the pick you expect to be getting in the mixer and team fighting like a beast at this point of the game, but Handback is just on point.
야, 얘들아
He
지렸다.
is so good. And then Hype is the benefactor. And, the beneficiary, sorry. And
I think as well, you know, Hype went for the Bloodthirster second. He was getting poked quite heavily at the start of the fight, but was healing off minions, getting the sustain back up, and I think the value on the item has been massive so far this game.
oh yeah, Apollo now going to get engaged on here, but is able to just crash down his way out. I do like the fact that Duro and Canyon have basically been attached at the hip throughout this game. Like, that is where they're going to get that Lulu value, I guess.
Yep.
And you've got Ruler just clearing waves in the mid lane as Hype. Yeah, I don't know whether you're really going to find too much value there, as stuck by the Fear Beyond Death. You can connect there from Humbug. Wants to possibly find a bit of an angle here as everyone fishing for these opportunities. Non-committal CC available from a lot of different people. But Hype now, without Flash, without Cleanse, does have Arrow. But it is still a little bit of a worrisome time to be the Ashe here. I think Gen G have now got him well and truly in their sights.
Especially because we talked about Gen G banning all of their summoners in that earlier fight.
Yep.
All of their Flash is going to be coming back up. And especially when you think about the fact of like Chovy having Flash, or even Ruler having Flash, if you get caught by one of their CCs, Hype might just die. And then as soon as that happens, the hopes in the fight I feel like would be pretty dire for Bro right now. But specifically as well, because it's been, I mean, sometimes you have difficult decisions on where you want to put your focus on the map, especially with the introduction of Otacon. But when it's a Chemtech Dragon,
Yeah.
no, like, and it's topside Otacon, both teams are just so locked in on the top side of the map, and it's like this dragon is just invisible.
But the real problem here for Bro is losing these turrets. Is never mind, Hype is just going to find Canyon. He's just dead. Okay, now a big teleport to come forward. The Emperor's Divide comes down. He's thrown into the blender, quite literally. But now Humbug looking for Keen, looking for the opportunity. And Chovy, he's gone golden, but Hype is still at full health. Can he get the DPS? That's the question as Morgan. He dives in. He's got the counter-strike again, and Humbug is a monster on this Lee Sin. Chovy almost kills all of them. But in the end, it's an ace for the Bros.
The value Handback is getting on this Lee Sin in these team fights is absurd. And Chovy, you know, I feel like he's doing so much on the Galio.
We've
but
got
it's not
HLE
enough.
on camera as well. That's fantastic.
They're like, what?
This is mad.
This is a team that beat us. And now, I mean, as well with the sustain this trio has that can heal up. So, I mean, this is just flawlessly played. The ult from Hype,
the
they kick
combo.
Canyon out of the Galio ult. So Chovy's ult doesn't get any value. But then this extended play, this choke is flawless for Chovy and Keen. The fear is big, the taunts that come in are big, but the DPS from Hype is consistent. Those lack of sums doesn't cause an issue.
And look at Humbug now. So he's over here, gets knocked up, flashes over the wall, finds another Q.
He's just playing so well. He's just so good, honestly. And the thing is as well, because it's this tank Galio, if this was like full AP Galio that we used to have back in the day, I think Chovy would have just dominated that fight. But he
almost
survived
did,
a long
to be
time.
honest.
He nearly did, but just the damage wasn't quite there. We do see Gen G pick up the Chemtech Dragon, but the Baron went over to Bro.
I think Gen G are just going to say, all right, you can have this silly Otacon thing. Because It just hasn't been a very good time for us going up
Pings
to
are coming in. I
side.
think they want to be
Okay,
there.
yeah, never mind.
There.
There's too much DPS. There's so much DPS here. 3 items on closer, one of them being a death cap, as now Polo's trying to move them out of the way. The first arrow to miss, but Arakan goes down, so who cares if the bros are gonna die? As Closey just throws Chovy over the wall. He tries the heroic entrance and is gonna successfully do so, but he's still not in a great position because look at Hype. He's able to free hit another kick to death here from Humbug. As the bros are just taking no prisoners, man. They're all still alive. No one's sent back to base just yet, and they'll be the ones to start ripping through these turrets now.
And they're just playing so well. Gen G want to contest Arakan, want to get over, but they just get locked into a fight where you're against the buff, you don't have hopes, but like Morgan is a demon on the back line, Hype untouchable, and Handback. This Lee Sin has been so crisp.
Yeah, this is like the best part about this, right? Is it's not that Gen G are playing really badly and throwing and all this stuff. Bro are just playing insanely well.
Gen G, honestly, I mean, it's Bro with some of the best lead we've seen so far in the LCK Cup. And now looking at ending the game.
Yeah, Keen is probably just dead. Wild Growth is kind of fantastic as Canyon gets into that backline, but he is going to be destroyed. No one can touch Hype right now as he is actually going to be sent back home. But there it is. Bro pick up an unprecedented 2-0 over Gen G. And these huge grins on their faces. Edgar comes in to congratulate everyone. We knew they had it in them. They've taken down Gen G before in the last tournament they were in. And they do it here again with a far more upgraded, you could say, lineup.
Pay your bro taxes. That is the lesson of
Yeah,
the day.
that is the lesson.
Taxes.
Be like Leo. That's
like
what you have
Leo
to be.
in the, I mean, what a performance. And I just think, like, this is the hype we had in the Kesper Cup, and there were caveats. We knew there were caveats.
Yeah.
We knew that, obviously, not every team had their full roster. This is a...